Well, hey, howdy, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by to join me today. I really do appreciate it. My name is Ellie, and I'm a witch, and this over here is my teaching assistant, Andy, and today is Monday, and on my channel it means it is Misheard History, and today's Misheard History topic is going to be Emperor Joshua Norton. There is going to be a little life and channel update at the end of the video, so stick around for that. So I just want to start by saying thank you. This was a suggestion from a subscriber, and this is super interesting and a really weird thing that I had never heard about, so thank you again. But Joshua Abraham Norton was born February 4th, 1818 in England. He was born to parents John and Sarah, who were English Jews. He was born in England and briefly lived in what is now London, but his family moved to South Africa by the time he was 2 years old. The move was part of a colonization effort, and the group became known as the 1820s settlers. It is also worth noting that there was no birth record for Norton, so we do not know exactly where and or when he was born. The best guesses are Deptford, England, and February 4th. I tell you that because there are obituaries with conflicting information about his birth. Even his coffin said that he was aged about 65 when he died, which would put his exact birth year in 1815. Now, the about 65 came from an estimate from his landlady, so not exactly scientific. In 1923, an essay was published by California Historical Society, which claimed Norton was born in 1819. However, the ship manifesto for his trip from England to South Africa says he was 2 years old in 1820. Raised in what was Grahamstown, he moved to Port Elizabeth in 1839, where he went into business with his brother-in-law, Henry Benjamin Kish. Now, the business only lasted 18 months, so Norton got a job as an auctioneer. Sometime between 1843 and 1844, he moved to Cape Town and began working for his father. He only stayed there for a short time as he moved to Boston in 1845 on board the Sunbeam, which left from Liverpool. Norton made claims later that he arrived from Rio de Janeiro into San Francisco in 1849. Regardless, he had success in commodities markets and in real estate speculations. By the end of 1852, he was wealthy and respected as a citizen of the area. However, he went bankrupt in 1856 after some misspeculations in regards to buying and selling rice. By 1859, he had become totally discontented with what he considered inadequacies in both the political and legal structures in the US. In July, he issued a manifesto addressed to the citizens of the Union. It outlined what Norton determined to be the national crisis in very broad terms. He then went on to say it was imperative that action be taken to address the crisis. He took out an ad in the San Francisco Daily Evening Bulletin for the manifesto. 2 months later, on September 17th, he hand-delivered a letter to the office of the Bulletin declaring himself Emperor of the United States. As the peremptory request and desire of a large majority of the citizens of the United States, I, Joshua Norton, formerly of Algona Bay, Cape of Good Hope, and now, for the last 9 years and 10 months, part of San Francisco, California, declare and proclaim myself Emperor of these United States, and in virtue of authority thereby vested in me, do hereby order and direct the representatives of the different states of the Union to assemble in Musical Hall of the city on the first day of February next, then and there to make such alterations in the existing laws of the Union as may ameliorate the evils under which the country is laboring, and thereby cause confidence to exist, both at home and abroad, in our stability and integrity. Signed, Norton the First, Emperor of the United States. Now, the newspaper actually printed the letter, though through a humorous lens, but this kicked off Norton's 20-year reign. During this reign, he issued numerous decrees on the matter of states. One of those decrees came October 12th, 1859, and it formally abolished the United States Congress. The decree also included that all interested parties were to attend an assembly at Musical Hall in San Francisco in February 1860. The assembly would be to remedy the evil complained of. In January of 1860, another decree was issued. This one was summoning the army to forcibly remove the elected members of Congress. Whereas a body of men calling themselves the National Congress are now in session in Washington City in violation of our imperial elect of 12th of October last, declaring the said Congress abolished. Whereas it is necessary for the repose of our empire that the said decree should be strictly complied with. Now therefore we do by hereby order and direct Major General Scott, the commander-in-chief of our armies, immediately upon receipt of this, our decree, to proceed with a suitable force and clear the halls of Congress. The decree was obviously ignored by the army and Congress. Another decree was issued in July 1860. This one ordered the dissolution of the Republic in exchange for a temporary monarchy. In 1862, he issued a mandate to both the Protestant Church and the Roman Catholic Church to publicly ordain him as emperor. This was to resolve the disputes that arose due to the Civil War. After that mandate, he turned his attention to other matters, those of a political and social nature. He had a proclamation printed in the San Francisco Daily Herald on August 12, 1869. He declared the abolition of the Democratic and Republican parties. He explained that he was desirous of allaying the dissensions of party strife now existing within our realm. Norton also forbade any conflict between different religions, which is not something that I think most people would disagree with as a good thing in theory. He issued several decrees for the construction of a suspension bridge or tunnel to connect Oakland to San Francisco. Both structures were actually built just long after his death, built in the form of the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge and the Trans-Bay Tube. There have been efforts made to rename, or at least commonly refer to, the bridge as Emperor Norton's Bridge. When Norton was not writing decrees and proclamations, he spent most days just walking the streets, spending time in libraries and parks, visiting the newspaper's offices or his friends in neighboring cities. During his walks, he would take note of the conditions of the sidewalks, cable cars, appearance of police officers, and the state repairs of public property. He also was known to talk with people he encountered about the issues of the day. At night, he was often at political gatherings or watching theater performances. For his emperor outfit, he wore a blue uniform with gold epaulets. This outfit had been given to him from officers at the army post of the Presidio of San Francisco. He added his own flair, of course, wearing a beaver hat decorated with ostrich or peacock feathers and a rosette, a walking stick, and an umbrella. Special Officer Armand Barbier was part of a private security team which was paid by neighborhoods to protect residents and businesses. The team was referred to as policemen. Now Armand arrested Norton in 1867 and had him involuntarily committed to a psychiatric hospital for a mental disorder. The arrest outraged citizens and sparked scathing articles in the newspapers. One of those was in the Daily Alta, saying that he has shed no blood, robbed no one, and despoiled no country, which is more than can be said of his fellows in the line. Police Chief Patrick Cowley ordered Norton to be released and issued a formal apology on behalf of the police force. Norton granted an imperial pardon for Armand, and from that point on, police officers in San Francisco would salute Norton when they saw him. Norton was not totally written off and actually received some tokens of recognition for his position. In the 1870 census, his occupation was listed as emperor, though it also notes that he was insane, which is not something that I thought would be routinely included in census records. In the 60s and 70s, there were anti-Chinese demonstrations and riots at the poor districts of San Francisco. At one of the rallies held on April 28, 1878, Emperor Norton made an appearance. He got on a small box and challenged the leader of the anti-Chinese group, telling everyone they needed to go home. The crowd did not listen, but the incident did get newspaper coverage for the following few days. Norton issued his own currency in the form of promissory notes, ranging between 50 cents and all the way up to $10. These bills were actually accepted at a few local restaurants. Through his reign, he was not solely focused on the US, but was trying to build foreign relations. He would send letters to foreign governments to try to have relationships or admonish them if he felt it necessary. He responded to instability in Mexico by expanding his title to Emperor of the United States and Mexico in 1861. He dropped the "and Mexico" part by 1866 and instead adopted the secondary title of Protector of Mexico. So many stories about Norton have been created or retold, and the fictitious stories did not just start after his death. Some thought he was actually the son of Emperor Napoleon III and that he just lied about coming from South Africa. Other rumors stated that he was actually very wealthy and lived well under his means as he was a Scrooge. After he actually declared himself emperor, the local newspapers, most notably the Daily Alta California, started to print fake decrees that fit their own agendas. Due to this, in 1870, Norton named the Black-owned and operated Pacific Appeals newspaper as his official newspaper, and from September 1870 to May 1875, the Pacific Appeal published over 250 proclamations and decrees. January 8th, 1880, Norton collapsed on his way to a debate at the California Academy of Science. Police called for a carriage, but Norton died before it arrived. The obituary that ran in the San Francisco Morning Call said, "On reeking pavement, in the darkness of a moonless night, under the dripping rain, Norton I, by the grace of God, Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico, departed this life." The San Francisco Chronicle led its article about Norton's funeral with the headline, "Le Roi est mort," the king is dead. Contrary to the rumors about his immense wealth, he was found to be poor after he died. As such, he was going to have a pauper's burial. However, San Francisco's Businessmen's Association, the Pacific Club, established a fund that provided a rosewood casket and arranged a dignified farewell. This funeral was held January 10th, and all manner of folks came out. All classes, from the capitalist to the pauper, the clergyman to the pickpocket, well-dressed ladies, and those whose garb and bearing hinted of social outcasts. As reported by the San Francisco Chronicle, people lined up for 2 blocks to watch the funeral procession, and 30 people attended the burial service. In 1934, his remains were moved to Woodlawn Memorial Park Cemetery in Colma, California. And that is all that I have for you today. This one was bizarre, but I loved it. I just appreciate that everybody didn't outright call him crazy. Obviously some people did. And probably 1,000,000% would today. But I love that a lot of people just supported him. Like, yeah, he's not harming anybody, why does it matter? I also love that everybody fought for him after he was arrested and, you know, sent to the mental institution. Love that. I love that people were accepting the promissory notes. And there is actually a plaque by, I want to say, the bridge that was created for him. I think that that's really cool. And this was just really interesting, and I'd never heard this before. But I kind of love this, and that's crazy that I didn't know that we did have an Emperor of the United States. But yeah, so thank you to the subscriber that suggested that. I really appreciate you. And if anybody has any other suggestions, please let me know, because I love weird shit, clearly. But just in general, I think stuff like this is really, really cool, and I want to read more about it. So, I said that I had a little life update and a little channel update. I'm taking a break. That's the update. So stuff coming up. Next week, I will only be having the Misheard History video. It's gonna be Sawney Bean, which is super spooky, and I love it. I'm super excited. But after that, the last week of May, and then all 4 weeks of June. I believe there's 4 weeks of June. The only things that I promise you are going to come out are 3 different fatal alignment videos, and then 3 reading nook videos, maybe 4 if I really feel like it. I'm going to be just giving myself a little break to work on second channel stuff and prep scripts for the rest of the year and little side projects, whatever I want to do. And also I just need a break. So 90% of you have not been around long enough, but I let y'all know last year that I had shoulder surgery about a year and a couple months ago now. And when it comes to surgeries, I was warned 100%. Sorry, my camera's gonna be all messed up apparently. I was warned that after surgery, there's a chance, you know, you'd lose feeling, or, you know, you'd have permanent nerve damage, and that includes pain. So it's one of those things where, like, you're told that and you're like, oh, it's not gonna be me. So for, like, the last year-ish, my shoulder has been numb to the touch, which is just weird. I'm not gonna say it hurts, it's weird. But some people deal with that for the rest of their life. That's the only thing that they deal with. I won't say it's pleasant, it's uncomfortable, but you can live with it. But I was told that it takes about a year for your nerves to start working again. I don't know if they have to regrow or something, but it takes about a year for your nerves, if they're going to fully come back with feeling, for them to come back, and that it will likely be painful. Well, I didn't believe them that much. Like, I did, but I didn't. And they weren't wrong. It hurts. And so I need some time for myself to kind of get used to it, or, you know, give my body a little bit of a break that isn't changing shirts every 5 minutes for videos like this and sitting down upright instead of being able to relax. Just not to like dissuade anybody from getting a shoulder surgery if you have to, but just personally, it feels like somebody lit a match under my skin and that all of the muscles in my back are just pulled. So it hurts a lot, but I wouldn't, if I had to go back in time, I'd still get it. And I'd do it again for the other shoulder, or even if I have to get it on the shoulder again, I'd do it again because it was well worth it for my quality of life. It's just that this hurts now. So I'm going to take the month of June for myself, and just, if I want to do videos, I'll do videos, and if I want to work on scripts instead, then I'll work on scripts instead, and just let my body figure itself out. And so I can maybe get used to it. If this is my new normal, then it'll give me time to adjust to that and come to terms with that. But yeah, so the only things I'm promising are next week's video, and then 3 Fatal Alignments videos, and then at least 3 Reading Nook videos. And then when I come back, maybe I'll do second channel stuff too, just somewhere that's a little bit more comfortable, more relaxed, chiller. Because I enjoy this, but it is uncomfortable to a degree, and my back hurts, so we're figuring it out. Yeah, I appreciate you guys' support through that. And if any of you have ever had like a shoulder surgery and you know, deal with your nerves coming back, please let me know what y'all did to make yourself more comfortable, because Icy Hot and Biofreeze are not really doing it for me anymore. But with that all being said, I don't want to take up too much more of you guys' time. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.